Hey guys, what's up? I don't know about you, but on a rig like this, I rely heavily on things like Onyx Off-Road because you do not want to get a rig like this up on a trail and find out that you can't get through or you have to back down, especially in bad weather. So typically anything from a class 2 so far to a class 4 and even a class 5 I've been able to do. But there's something really interesting about that. A lot of trails that I've been on from class 2 to class 4 have always talked about this infamous 18-inch ledge that I have yet to find. So I don't know if they're just not understanding what a ledge is, or if they're thinking that's a possibility that you might find on the trail, but it's kind of misleading. Well, one of the things I want to do is I'm getting some serious upgrades to the rig. I may have already had them put on by now, but we're going to take and we're going to run this trail and we're going to look for an 18-inch ledge on this trail that's supposed to be there. And I got a feeling we're not going to find it. So I don't know who's putting that stuff in there, but I always find 18-inch ledge classified on these trails, and I've yet to find it.
So we got to Patrick's place in Farmington. Starting to get a nice little sunset here. But we got the Sunrader. Why are we at Patrick's? Why am I here? Well, the Sunrader is getting an upgrade. Upgrade repair, kind of. So I picked this up on Marketplace. This is a twin stick T-case with 4.70 gears instead of the stock 228. The reason I'm getting this is last time I was on a good steep downhill on the dirt, I was constantly on the brakes because of the weight of my vehicle. So it wasn't geared low enough. So found a super deal on this, and the same guy happened to have one of these. Now this is the thing, when you get one of these T cases set up, I already have a 2.8 T case. So with this guy, this is a Marlin Crawler doubler. So this dude gets bolted onto here, and then my original reduction box from my Toyota Sunrader, just like this, gets bolted on the front of that, and then now we have 3 sticks. So we have a 4.70 low range, we have a 228 standard low range, and then we have a double low range. Don't know that I'll ever actually need the double low, but I do believe I'll still need the 2.8, and that's why I'm going to do it. And besides, it's just kind of a cool factor too, because I just got such a good deal on these parts. Couldn't pass it up. So I'm not eating this month. No. Well, barely. So that I can afford these parts. Also, something we're here to look at is my rear axle may be bent. I'm going to have Patrick take a look at it, tell me what he thinks. Maybe we can get his brother's eyes on it. Lily. And see what they both think, see if it's bent. If it's bent, we are going to be looking for a new housing. That's going to set me back also, but it's kind of, on the housing, it's going to be buy once, cry once. Going to have to get that new, and it's not going to be cheap, but it is going to be very strong. No more issues. So we'll see what happens. We're waiting for Patrick to get back so we can get into the garage and start tearing this thing apart. So while we're waiting here for Patrick to show up, I decided to pull all the plastics off and stuff, but
you can see kind of what I did here. This is the original Toyota 4Runner, the whole tunnel cover. So I cut the tunnel cover out and grafted it into the my first gen. So now we just have to pull all this out once we get it in the shop, and we'll be able to... Hey, Lily! Lily's trying to pick a fight with a guard dog. I'm glad he's behind the chain. He looks like he's a very, very well-mannered dog, though. So I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna pull this out. We'll pull the T-case. Oh, no, there's another one. We'll pull the T-case out, get the new T-case in that I think I already showed you. Hey guys. And for right now, we're just waiting on Patrick to show up. So we got all this stuff taken off. We got that opened up. We got drive shafts off. We got the T-case up here. T-case is about ready to be lowered down a little bit so I can get the rest of the bolts off, and then that whole T-case will pop off. And like that, the other one will pop right back on. Okay, it's not just like that, but here we go. Oh man, I just put my hand on the goop. Did I screw it up? No, I caught myself pretty good, pretty fast. Okay. This is the tough part. Figuring out where to do all this. What makes the most sense? Okay. Okay. Wasn't as bad as I've had it in the past. That's for sure. Oh, I think it'll go all the way through. These ones go. Does it keep changing? For the last 3 days, or 2 days I guess it is, I've been at Patrick's Elevated Overland. And it all started with Patrick actually reaching out to me. He's getting ready to move, so he's moving to Idaho, and he needed someone to drive one of his vehicles to Idaho for him. So of course I said yes, and then he found out that I was needed some work on the Sunrader that I was gonna work on at somebody else's place, and he said, why don't you just come a few days early and work here in the shop. So that's been really nice. So let me show you a couple of things I've been doing. So tonight, just now, I just installed my ARP studs on the driver's side. So before I had those on the driver's side, I did a video on that I had broken them at Happy Trails, or Jason's place, and so I hadn't had a chance to put the driver's side in. So today I'm getting the driver's side in on that, and then down here we have put a new T-case in with 4.70 gears. So that gives us lower crawl ratio gears when we're crawling. And something else I've been lacking, I've had this in my rig for at least 1.5 years. Been waiting to put it on. This is a T-case e-brake. So it puts the disc up here at the end of the T-case and has a caliper here, and it will get pulled basically the same way it normally would. But so now I'll have an e-brake, which is really nice. And inside, I've got to get a boot for a twin stick T-case. So yes, this T-case, oh man, everything's a mess in here right now, but has dual sticks, so instead of just the one four-wheel drive, it has two.
What are you talking about, Knucklehead? Let me explain how this works. So this allows you to use all of your gears in both two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, therefore allowing you to have much lower gears in two-wheel drive without having to shift into four-wheel drive for things like ascending and descending hills.
So now the other thing I've got to do, which I haven't figured out what to do yet, unfortunately, is I have a bent axle housing. So my rear axle housing back here is bent. And I thought I had a used housing purchased, but that didn't work out. So now I'm going to have to buy a new housing for it. Instead of just going with another IFS housing, which is what it is, I've already done, as you know, a full float conversion, which I did a video on that. Maybe I'll have that at the end if you want to see that. So I did a full float conversion on this. So because I already spent all that money on the full float, I'm going to go ahead, I think, and get a Trail Gear Rock Assault axle, an 8-inch Trail Gear Rock Assault housing. They're pretty pricey, but cry once, you know, and it's done. And then I really won't have to worry about breaking that housing again. So yep, I think that's what we're gonna have to do, but we're not gonna do that until we get back from Idaho. But when we get back from Idaho, we will figure out what we're going to do. I need to have a place to ship everything, all the parts for the axle, and then a place to install it. So, well, here we are on the side of the highway. Here's my ride. And as you can see, we got a little bit. Even got a Harley over there. Patrick's rock crawler. So not as only is he almost out of gas, but good thing we had the high lift and some tools. Broken lift spring, trailer spring. You're good.
Never a dull moment.
No, it's a hell of a load you got on that thing, man.
Well, it's a good thing Patrick happens to be moving his entire shop, because we've got all his tools for just such an emergency. So I don't know what's going on yet, but we had now a broken spring. Had to go 20 miles to town, pick up a new spring and some new U-bolts. Came back. We got another maybe 10 miles, 5-10 miles on the other side of that town, and had one of the rigs got a idler pulley froze, so we changed the belt, put a new idler pulley. Of course, I had to go to town and get that and come back. And now we're back on the road again because the power steering isn't working for some reason. We don't know yet what it is, but I got a feeling I may have to run back into town yet again. We'll see. This Supra makes pretty quick work of it, and here in Idaho, the speed limits are 80, so going 90 isn't usually a problem. This has been eventful, that's for sure. It's just this last half of the trip. All day yesterday, we camped outside Pocatello, I think it was. All the way up to that time, not one incident. And now we've already had 3 within probably 3 hour span. Hopefully this is a short one, we can figure it out.